What's going on, Jerome's? So, I refuse to call myself an influencer. Producer Ali loves to like rub my face. So, uh, we got one of those tripods with like the octopus arms, and apparently like a lot of influencers just put it on the steering wheel. But I feel like it was way too close. Like they could see all my pores. Like you could see into my soul. It's not much there. It's very dark. Something that was also very dark is the Vikings running game last year. Ooh, it's a good transition. All right, so with the departure of Dalvin Cook, who did not fare better with the Jets, so I think Quase made the correct decision. It just wasn't good last year. And as we talked about, it was an amalgamation. A lot of it was Madison, a lot of it was the offensive line, a lot of it was Kevin O'Connell. But I do like that O'Connell has been very cognizant about wanting to run the ball more. And also, what's interesting, so Randy Moss this week on with Kay Adams, up in Adams, legend Kay Adams, he said that if the Vikings want to be a good offense this year, paraphrasing him here, that they have to run the ball. Now, that's interesting coming from Randy friggin' Moss, one of the greatest receivers, if not the greatest receiver of all time. For my money, he is the GOAT. I can't deal with the shadows right now. It's okay. You're going to get glistening chin. Why are you sweating so much? I was watching Cops. But yeah, the Vikings do need to run the ball more this year. And part of it is just having balance on offense. And Warren Sharp put out a stat where the Vikings threw the second most in terms of play calling percentage in the red zone in the league last year. The Jets were number one. And Nathaniel Hackett, of course, maybe not so much. But it just showed how little O'Connell trusted the running game. It was just not good. And the whole thing about it is that whether it's Darnold, whether it's McCarthy, running game is certainly going to help them out. And both of them are very experienced being play action quarterbacks, and that's a big thing with Kevin O'Connell's offense. It's a lot of movement, it's a lot of lateral movement, it's a lot of boot action, play action, half rollouts, etc. And you run the ball outside zone, take shots downfield, throw over the middle of the field, and that's what O'Connell wants his quarterbacks to do. But to have that, you got to be able to run the ball. And to a degree, I mean, the Vikings' inability to run the ball last year certainly put the other quarterbacks besides Kirk Cousins behind the 8 ball last season. Hell, maybe even Kirk too. And it was a big reason for the Vikings 1-4 start, 0-3, 1-4 start, besides the frickin' turnovers, as well as them losing 6 out of the last 7 games. And also the game that they did win, they scored 3 points. So that all goes together. But I like that the Vikings are having some competition at the guard spots, whether it's Blake Brandel, tough to handle Blake Brandel, Dalton Reisner, as well as Ed Ingram. Best 2 start. I don't care what combination it is, but also it's kind of great because the 2 that start, there's another dude on the bench that is capable of starting. So it's going to keep the pressure on and a little bit of, hey, if I don't perform, I could get pulled, right? Which hasn't been the case going back to the Zimmer years. Basically, I named you the starter, Pat Elflein, Drew Samia, Dakota Dozier, Oli Udoh, and you are starting, no matter what. If you're not cutting the mustard, you're going to sit your ass on the bench. And the thing about Bradbury is, too, like when he's healthy, he's actually a very solid run-blocking center, especially with the outside zone scheme. I mean, they drafted him in the first round because of his movement skills and because of his blocking skills, right? And the thing that really stunts him is when he's one-on-one against a power nose tackle. Kenny Clark for a number of years, Akeem Hicks for a number of years, Dexter Lawrence in that wild card game against the Giants did very, very bad things to him. But if the Vikings are able to run the ball, take a little bit of starch out of that defensive line, it certainly helps. And balance is key, where when the Vikings, again, I understand where Kevin O'Connell comes from. He's a former quarterback. Quarterbacks want to throw the ball. And plus, he trusted Kirk Cousins. And even when Kurt was out, like he was still chucking the ball over the lot with Dobbs and Mullins and Hall. So it's not like he changes. And I get it. You got Justin Franklin Jefferson. You have Hawkinson. You have Addison when he's on the field. And I understand the compulsion to throw the ball, but having balance is going to wear out the defenses, especially their front seven. Like I said, take the starch out of a little bit of pass rush where, hey, if the defensive linemen and edge rushers can't pin their ears back because they know that you're going to throw in these certain situations, that makes things a lot more difficult. And also them consistently having to stop the run, set the edge, think about things like that will add fatigue later on in the game and give you more opportunities later on, right? Plus, Yeah, Aaron Jones, Aaron Jones, is one of the best running backs in the league against light boxes. And of course, if you have Justin Jefferson and eventually Hawkinson and Addison out there, you are going to be facing light boxes in general. And I do think that he can bring a ton to the Vikings, as well as he can be a true three-down back, because when he's on the field, you can throw because he's a great receiver as well as a very adept pass blocker. Also, Ty Chandler, like. So here's what's weird. Ty Chandler is 405 days older than Cam Akers, who eventually is going to be re-signed, right? But Ty Chandler has got that explosiveness. But can he be a true three-down back as well? Can he get his pass blocking in order? He's a great receiver. Also, as you saw last year, especially in that Bengals game, he can run the ball, especially between the tackles, right? And also, just giving this offensive line some confidence, man. Just going forward as opposed to going back, and hopefully you can keep bodies off of your quarterback. It's kind of nice. Just imposing your will, getting some good mojo going up front, and that will carry over. Plus, just imagine defenses that are getting gashed 5, 6, 7, 8 yards a carry with Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler, and all of a sudden, your defensive coordinator is like, okay, we got to stop bracketing Jefferson. We got to bring an extra guy down the box, whether playing base, bring the linebacker in, or bring one of the safeties down. We can't keep doubling Jefferson because they're running the piss out of the ball, baby. So you got Jefferson singled up, and then all of a sudden, Darnold or McCarthy, they're faking that ball in Aaron Jones' gut. They pull it, and then they step back. Jefferson singled up down the field. Ooh, baby, baby. Stuff dreams are made of. That's right. So I understand that O'Connell and, especially with Jefferson, the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history, you want to throw. But running the ball is going to be the key for the Vikings offense this year. Having balance up front and letting Darnold and or McCarthy get comfortable until they're ready to be that talisman out there at quarterback. It's going to be beautiful, man. So it's almost like, it's kind of funny. It's like Zim for so many years, like, run the damn ball. We're getting back to it, baby. 2024, we have the meats, and also Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler. But that's it. Run the damn ball. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull, no production value.